The content provided in this video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. For medical advice, please schedule an appointment with one of our Hope for Healing providers or the appropriate medical professional. This material is the property of Hope for Healing and is not to be shared or replicated in any way without written consent. Thank you.
Welcome to Fall Food Friday. So this is another recipe that we're going to be showing you. Today we're going to be making sweet potato and bacon soup. We're going to be starting with chopping onions, and because I didn't want to bawl or boohoo all over the camera, we pre-cut the onions, but what you're going to see is that they're finely chopped, but ultimately they are chopped in different sizes because ultimately everything is going to go in a blender. And then next, we are going to chop up a sweet potato. So I've pre-chopped up several sweet potatoes, but the way that I do it, because my hands are so small, is I will cut the sweet potato in half so that I can have a better grip of the sweet potato. So let's get these ends, and then I kind of focus on the ends here so I don't, miss anything. One of the favorite things about this soup is going to be both gluten and dairy-free, which, sometimes it is really hard for people to get a hang of all the gluten and dairy-free items. And so we wanted to make sure that when we created some fun fall favorites, that we were going to be doing it in a way that you can eat it and that it would be delicious for you to share with your friends and family. So as you can see, it doesn't have to be super consistent. Actually, I'm going to get this one last piece here. There you go. It doesn't have to be super consistent sizes or shapes because everything ultimately goes in a blender. Oop. There we go. And then we're done. Okay, so we're going to put all of this off to the side. Okay, next we're going to be pressing our garlic. I've already pre-pressed some of our garlic, but it's a really easy process. All you're going to do is take your garlic press. This is this moment where you can definitely claim that you did an arm workout because some of this garlic can be quite strong, quite powerful, depending on the toughness of the garlic. Oops. So we're going to press some more garlic. There we go. And then one more time. I'm going to press it again. I love using fresh garlic because I think it just has really great natural ability. But again, we have a philosophy that we talk about a lot within group coaching, which is good, better, best. We are going to do our best we can to pick the things that we can. And so sometimes we get the option to choose what is best, which is fresh garlic, and other times we can buy it pre-made because that is what our current ability is. So just get that out, scrape every last drop. I am a garlic lover and eater, and so I want to make sure we have all the garlic that we need. So next, we're going to be heading to the stove to be putting a little bit of avocado oil. Again, we will mention this so many times, you will be able to mention it, but we definitely recommend using avocado oil because of its high smoke point. And so you can see on this bottle here, it literally says it's a 500-degree smoke point. And so what we're first going to start off with is just taking our onions and sauteing it on the stove back there. So you're going to see that we are going to saute these onions. So first I want to pour just a little bit of avocado oil, about 2 tablespoons, again, give or take, it's not the end of the world. And then we're going to turn it up on medium high and just throw it in there. It's going to be a very aromatic recipe. So we just take this and again, wait for it to get high, and then we'll just keep stirring for once it gets hot, for about 2 to 5 minutes. We're going to break up some of this onion that didn't get cut as well. There we go. Perfect. So now we're just going to watch it for 2 to 5 minutes. So as you can see, the onions are starting to look good. And again, we're still working on the technology for you to see how good these onions smell. So we're going to move on to our next ingredient. We're going to be adding in our garlic. And this is just a whole garlic. So we made sure. And I'm just going to make sure this gets minced in together. And saute this just for a tiny bit, not even super, super long, but just enough to make sure that it's all mixed really well within the garlic and onion. There we go. Let that go for a little while, spread that around. So I kind of layer it out, and then we're going to take a half teaspoon and kind of throw in some salt. Again, salt is always to preference or taste, so we can put in however much it may need. We are putting bacon in it, so that will also have its own properties. You see it's kind of getting smoky, so we're going to turn this down a bit to ensure that gets done. And now we're going to start putting in our sweet potatoes. I kind of like layering everything in, make sure it's all touching. We're going to go at it again. There we go. Potato down. Okay, and then our last bit, this was about 3 sweet potatoes. So we're going to get that in there. And what is next, you ask? That's it, just sauteing. So we're going to saute for another like 5-ish minutes and see how it starts to get. Okay, so I've been watching these potatoes to make sure, and so the temperature is always done with, like, you just don't want it to burn. And so I watched it here and kept stirring it to make sure that nothing burned and that it was sauteed correctly. Your next step is to add water. So we have 2 cups of water right here that we're going to pour into it. And then we're going to add 4 cups of low sodium organic chicken broth. So we're just going to pour that in. So again, all of this is going to go in a blender and be super yummy and delicious after the fact. So we're putting everything in. Sure, it goes in. And so now our next step is to let it be brought to a boil. So I'm going to raise the temperature so that we can be brought to a boil and put the lid on. And we will, after this is brought to a boil, we're going to put it on low simmer and then let it be there for 20 to 25 minutes. So we'll show you when it gets back to a boil. So next, if you are on a time crunch and this recipe seems like a lot to you, one of the number one things I can say is take a look at a recipe and see how it can best stack and see where you can multitask. In this case, I multitasked by pre-cooking the bacon, but at this time you could put bacon in the oven, you can have bacon bits, whatever fits your current ability and your time necessary for this. You have some amazing brands out there who are 10 out of 10, have no nitrates and different preservatives, and you can find microwave bacon that is in that same way. So first, you literally at this point, we're just prepping for the bacon bits that are both going to go in the soup, but also we can also prep for the ones that go on the top. And so you're just going to see lots and lots of chopped bacon. Here, let's pull this over here, bring that over, drop that in. Perfect. You know what? We can just cut quite a bit at a time, right? So all you're going to do is just chop up the bacon as much as you think is possible. I would probably chop it a little bit thinner for those pieces that are going to be used as bacon bits that will be sprinkled at the top of the recipe. But again, everything up until this point is going straight in a blender, right? So besides the bacon bits that go on top, and the chives that will eventually chop up, you are going to put all of this straight in a blender. So we're going to do just more chopping of bacon to get everything situated. And all of this can happen while the pot is getting those potatoes nice and tender. And at this point, this would be a great time for you to also chop your chives. So just take them like this and just create, and then just create a nice bowl of chives. Me and my family, we are chive eaters. So I know that if we are going to go through all this soup, we are going to go through all of these chives. And so that is it. Now we stick everything else off to the side, and then we wait until the potatoes are done, and then we're going to put everything in the blender and then serve. We'll show you when the potatoes are ready. Okay, so now we're going to take a look. Just put this off to the side. So we're going to ladle out. The timer went off. And so you can see it is clearly ready to be blended. So put that in there. Stick this off to the side. Put this back on. We are definitely going to need our ladle. So let's head over here. Okay. So this is the fun, tricky type of thing. And I get us prepared. Okay, so we're going to be using a blender for this. And let's put this off to the side for now, not forever. And then we're going to right now just really focus on scooping up the chunks of this. We are going to use it all, but because it's just a lot of weight, it's easier to scoop the chunks first before putting in all of the liquid. So we're just going to keep doing that. Keep scooping. Keep scooping. I'm actually just going to layer in some of the bacon right now too, so that the heat, just throw that in there so we don't forget. Perfect. Okay. Just keep scooping. So now we're almost down. I'm just going to pour this as more like a splash guard to ensure that we don't have any splashing of the liquid ingredients, and then we'll get the rest of the solid. Ooh, we're almost to the point. Okay. There we go. Stick that in there. Let's put this off to the side. And let's get the rest in there. Whee! Ooh. Perfect. Let me get a little of the liquid out so we can get the rest of this delicious soupness. We're a little bit over on the max liquid line, so I'm going to pour a little bit of it out. There we go. Perfect. Now we're going to put the lid on. Ooh, wrong way. Yes. We're going to put the lid on and get started shortly. Lock and loaded. Turning it on and blend. So now we're ready to get going. I let vent a little just to make sure we don't pour or hurt ourselves whenever we are pouring it out. So we're going to get a bowl. So like I said, we have our bacon and our chives. Again, if you want to add a little extra salt, this is the perfect opportunity. You never want to oversalt things. Or you can add some Italian herb blend. So you just pour, as you can see, and then we sprinkle some bacon on top and some chives. I'd probably add a pinch of salt. And then I just love adding, I think it adds a fun kind of flavor to it all. So then we take it and then we dive in a little bit of everything. It tastes like fall.